world is changing. Temperatures are climbing. Ocean levels are rising. Giant storms are becoming more frequent and more intense. Planet Earth is rapidly becoming hostile to human life. At the same time, alien activity is on the rise. Could there be a connection between the two? Waldo Canyon, Colorado, June 28, 2012. The second biggest forest fire in state history is sweeping through the region. In the midst of the chaos, residents spot a mysterious object falling from the sky into the heart of the danger zone. They report it to authorities as a UFO. NORAD confirms that an object did fall from space, but dismisses it as a meteor. The fact that it happened to fall directly into a raging forest fire is regarded as mere coincidence, but that will soon change. The next day, a television news crew catches sight of a UFO passing close to a helicopter monitoring the fire. The images are unmistakable, and they raise some disturbing questions. Why is a UFO present in the heart of a natural disaster? Is it related to the object that fell to Earth the day before? And are both somehow related to the start of the fire? The cause of the Waldo Canyon blaze remains unknown, and it was just one of 10 major forest fires burning in Colorado at the time. Their effect is devastating on both a local and global scale. As temperatures rise and the Earth dries out, these fires are becoming more frequent, sending more and more carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. With fewer trees to absorb this excess carbon, the global warming trend will only accelerate. Could the first Waldo Canyon object have been a fire-starting device dropped by a UFO to trigger yet another blaze? And if it was, what do they have to gain by setting the Earth on fire? The answer may be found in our own plans to avoid extinction. Terraforming Mars. In 2012, renowned physicist Stephen Hawking claimed that humanity's only chance of long-term survival is not to remain on planet Earth, but to spread out into space. Experts agree our only possible safe haven in the solar system is Mars, but the planet's atmosphere is razor-thin in comparison to Earth's, and is mostly comprised of deadly carbon dioxide. To become a viable candidate for large-scale colonization, the red planet would have to undergo an almost complete transformation. NASA has looked into the possibility of altering the Martian landscape to serve human needs through a process called terraforming. Factories will be established on the surface to produce vast quantities of the same greenhouse gases that threaten our planet today. These gases will trap heat from the sun, warming the planet's surface. The polar ice caps will melt, releasing more carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, warming the planet even further. The appearance of water will provide the means to sustain life in the long term. It's a hugely ambitious plan on an almost unimaginable scale. But through terraforming, Mars could become a new home for humanity. The question is, has another species thought of this idea first? Are aliens starting forest fires to eliminate the human race and create the ideal living conditions for their own species here on Earth? And is this the only step in their plan to create an alien Earth? Forest fires are becoming more and more frequent across our planet. Recently, UFOs were sighted over a massive blaze in Colorado. Are aliens starting forest fires as part of a larger plot to transform the Earth into a planet habitable by their own species? And is this the only step in their plan? Southern Brazil, June 2012. multiple witnesses report a UFO hovering off the coast near the Argentinian border. The strange craft never approaches land and never appears to threaten the local population. But according to some experts, there are victims.
There were multiple witnesses. The sighting lasted for several hours. Round about 3 weeks later, several hundred penguins washed up on shore. They didn't look like they died of starvation. They didn't look like they had died of trauma.
What caused such a massive death toll? And what happens when it occurs on an even greater scale? The world is currently facing an extinction crisis on a level not seen since the age of the dinosaurs, with as many as 140,000 different species disappearing. But of all the creatures facing their demise, one species above all has the power to take humanity with it. And no one knows for sure why they are disappearing. Bees. They feed on the nectar and pollen of flowering plants, and in doing so, fertilize them in a natural process called pollination. These plants include dozens of species vital to our food supply. Roughly one mouthful in every 3 ingested comes to us thanks to bees. They may possess a painful sting, but without bees, the human race would face a fatal food shortage. Recent years have seen the worldwide population in steep decline. In Britain, beekeepers reported a 50% decrease from 2012 to 2013 alone. The rapid disappearance of this vital species is a disturbing trend that is coinciding with another equally disturbing phenomenon. According to the Mutual UFO Network, the year 2012 also saw a massive increase in worldwide sightings of unidentified flying objects. Could the two phenomena be somehow related? In the event of an alien attempt to colonize the Earth, human beings would present the only major obstacle. And some experts believe authorities have blinded most of humanity to our precarious position on this planet.
We have our government, which makes it quite clear we're 20, 30, 40, 50 years ahead of what you think we are in this area, in that area. And then over here, we have 7 billion people on a planet with major problems. Food shortages, water shortages, environmental damage.
Any alien species studying our natural world would soon discover any number of subtle but no less effective ways to plunge humanity into the abyss. Are extraterrestrials killing bees as part of a clandestine plan to starve us off the face of the planet? And is this the only alien threat to our food supply? Cattle mutilation. Dulce, New Mexico, March 24th, 1978. Cattle rancher Manuel Gomez discovers the dead carcass of a recently deceased 11-month-old bull. It's not unheard of, but the calf's post-mortem condition leaves Gomez and veterinarians in a state of stunned disbelief. The animal's sex organs have been removed with a surgical precision beyond the capability of even today's most sophisticated laser technology. The remaining carcass appears to have been dropped from a height achievable only by an aircraft. Blood samples taken at the scene are an unusual shade of light pink and refuse to clot. The remains are sent to a lab in Los Alamos for autopsy. The final police report notes that both the liver and heart were mushy, having the texture and consistency of peanut butter. It concludes that a probable explanation for the pinkish blood is a control type of radiation used to kill the animal. Who would kill a farm animal with radiation and mutilate it in such a bizarre manner? And why? The incident is in fact just one of many reported cattle mutilations that have plagued the United States since the early 1960s. But a declassified document from 1974 reveals that the FBI at first refused to investigate, claiming a possible violation of its investigative jurisdiction. When the Bureau finally does take up the case in 1979, it discovers a full-blown crisis in the nation's own backyard. According to a declassified memo from the lead investigator, in July 1978, a UFO was reportedly sighted by a resident of Taos, New Mexico, hovering over a pickup truck. The following morning, powder flakes were reportedly recovered from the truck roof. Locals identified the flakes as cowhide. Are cattle mutilations and the liquefying of their insides another extraterrestrial plot to sabotage our food supply? Or are they attempting to modify our cattle to suit their own nutritional needs on the new alien Earth? Coming up, we investigate a series of possible large-scale biological attacks by aliens to rid the Earth of human. Kerala State, India, July 25th, 2001. The daily routine is interrupted by a bizarre event that seems like a page torn from a book of ancient myth. A blood-red rain begins pouring over the area, terrifying the local population, who believe it to be the first sign of Kali Yuga, the end of the world, as described in Hindu scripture. It isn't long before people of other faiths are seized by the same apocalyptic fear.
This has all kinds of biblical implications, of course, because the Nile River turned red as one of the 10 plagues of Egypt. But in modern India, what was the cause of the red rain? Was it a bacteria?
The bloody deluge continues for 2 months, leaving experts grasping for an explanation. Some claim it to be blood from swarms of bats torn to shreds by lightning. Others point to a glut of algae spores finding their way into the tropical rain cycle.
Was it some kind of life form? Was it an organism in the rain? Scientists actually got a hold of the water as it poured from the red rain. And when they analyzed what was in that water, they found protein-like substances that did not occur naturally on planet Earth.
When placed under the microscope, the rain is found to contain particles that bear an uncanny resemblance to red blood cells.
By definition, there were otherworldly protein life forms, or the residue of life, in the red rain. In other words, extraterrestrial. Did that red rain mark an invasion of planet Earth by some alien species looking to infest our planet with bacteria? We still don't know what the protein substance was in the red rain.
Despite years of scientific study, the source of the rain remains a mystery, and the composition of the red particles unknown, leading many experts to believe they are extraterrestrial in nature. Alien bacteria. In 2009, Indian scientists launch a balloon into the stratosphere to collect particle samples. The craft returns bearing previously unknown bacteria that demonstrate a significantly higher resistance to ultraviolet radiation, far beyond any similar kind on Earth. Where do these strange microscopic life forms in the sky come from? Do they originate here on Earth? Or have they been planted there for some unknown purpose?